Field trip to investigate forced conversions. I visited South Malabar to personally investigate the Mopla uprising, especially with relation to the issue concerning forced conversions. I spoke to many contemporary historians and scholars during my field trip. I met with K.K.N. Kurup, a famous Malabar historian, at a small town in the interior of Kottakkal called Padaparamba. In response to my question on whether forcible conversions had taken place, Professor Kurup had the following to say, open quotes, "Forced conversions did take place despite the discouragement by the leaders, since a mass movement always results in the leaders losing control of the masses. Why should we deny forcible conversions? Peasant movements the world over have always been unpredictable like the river. When there is a flood, the river takes its own path. We have no statistics regarding the numbers who were forcibly converted." Quotes closed. Another query I posed him was whether the Mopla uprising in 1921 was aimed at avenging the oppression of the Hindu landlords and the British who supported them, or was it, overarchingly, the attachment to the Khalifa in Turkey and their anger at the British humiliation of him that motivated the Moplas to rise against the British? He stated that the latter was true. Another famous historian I met was Professor Mustafa Kamal. He is a prominent historian of the region. Professor Kamal has spent a lifetime researching the history of the Malabar region. He told me assertively that the Mopla uprising did not lead to mass forcible conversions of Hindus. If it was so, the non-Muslims who supported the Khilafat movement would have withdrawn support, he said. Gopala Menon was the secretary of the Khilafat movement in Kerala, he reminded me. It should also be noted that the people who suffered most during the Mopla uprising were the Muslims of Malabar, he added. Other academicians I interviewed were Dr. Nisar of Farooq College, Mr. Awsaf Ahsan of Other Books, Dr. Bhattacharya, a researcher with Other Books, Dr. Hussain Randathani, author of many books on the Moplas, and Professor Koya of the Institute of Objective Studies. The overwhelming opinion of these scholars was that the Moplas were demonized by the British so as to cause a rift between them and the Hindus of the region. Mr. Samil Elikal, an investigative journalist working for a prominent Malayalam daily, spent 3 years unearthing an untold massacre of over 245 people, including the old and the sick, in the Melmuri village in the Malappuram region. Samil says that the massacre was carried out to terrorize the rebels who had driven the mighty English force away from the region for months. The brutal killings were the work of the Dorset Regiment during the Mopla uprising. Samil denies that forced conversions took place. He contends, in a report carried in Deccan Herald of Bangalore, October 25, 2018, open quotes, "In my research, I could not find any credible information about the forceful conversion." Quotes closed. Samil continues, if such forceful conversions had happened, where are the later generations of these people? But till now, nobody came forward claiming as the descendants of these people. Samil took me to the site of the bloody Melmuri massacres and also showed me around other sites which witnessed battles between the Moplas and the British, like the one in Pokottur. Let us now watch an exclusive interview with noted Mopla historian and author Dr. Hussain Randathani on the nature of the Malabar uprising of 1921. This interview was recorded in February 2021.
Gandhiji himself declared that the Muslims are a part of the nation, and if there is any problem to the Muslims, it is the problem of the nation. And Shaukat Ali and Mahatma Gandhi, they also visited Malabar. They came to Calicut. Calicut, there was a very huge meeting in which most of the Congress leaders participated, and many Mappilas also participated. And just prior to that, there was a conference at Mancheri. It was in the 1990 last, and there also the many Mappilas, they participated in the Congress conference. So here it was in these conferences which became the basic stone of the Khilafat movement in Malabar. The leaders of the Muslim scholars of Malabar and also the Congress leaders jointly, they took effort to spread the Khilafat movement all over the region. And many leaders, particularly the ulama like Ali Musliya, Chambrasheri Tangal, Kunyasiri Koya Tangal, Variyankunnat Kunya Hamadaji, Katilasheri Muhammad Musliya, MP Narayana Menon, U. Gopala Menon, K. Madhavan Nair, and many others, they became the leaders of the Khilafat movement. The difference between the early struggles and the Khilafat struggle was that the early struggles were exclusively, it was a kind of religious ideological revolution or revolts. But now the nationalism also entered in these revolts, and it was a kind of the fusion of religion and nationalism. That Khilafat movement took place in this way. All the leaders, most of the leaders, particularly the Congress leaders, they preached non-violence. In this revolt, all the people participated. In no way it was not against anyone, but it was for the country. Variyankunnat Kunya Ahmad Haji, when he started this Khilafat movement, he has given a constitution for that. This constitution was not based on the Quran or Sharia, but this constitution was decided by a group of Khilafat leaders at that time. And these leaders included both Muslims and Hindus. And in this constitution, very clearly it was declared that no kind of actions be taken against Hindus. The Khilafat Raj became the name because it was organized by the Khilafat movement. Kunya Ahmadaji was captured with the help of Muslims. And when Kunya Ahmadaji was taken, he was captured and he was taken to Malappuram on the road. His mustache was taken away and his tadi was taken away, and also he was stoned. It was done by the people of the Muslim Janmis, not by Hindus. And when he was questioned and he was tried and he was put to death, at that time also he was questioned and his trial was declared by Amu Supran, who was also a Muslim. And lastly, you see who helped to cremate Variyankunnat. Variyankunnat was not buried, but his dead body was cremated. And for this purpose, the authorities were given kerosene and also the logs, wooden logs. This was also given by the Muslim Adhikaris. So where we find to depict this revolt as a Muslim revolt against Hindus.
Exclusive interview with MGS Narayanan, former professor and head of the Department of History in Calicut University from 1976 to 1990 and General Secretary of Indian History Congress during 1982 to 1985, Member Secretary of the Indian Council of Historical Research during 1990 and 1992. This interview was also recorded in early 2021.
What's your take on narratives like Mappila uprising was essentially anti-Hindu? What's your take on this narrative?
Mappila uprising was not that anti-Hindu as such. It was more against the British. Their ways of behaving and administration. So, since most of the officers and administrators under the English were Hindus. It had an anti-Hindu character also.
Accounts of so-called Mopla atrocities on Hindus was propagated by the Hindu upper caste.
Largely, because the British employed Hindus. They didn't have much trust among the Muslims. So, British employees, administrators, and officials were mostly Hindus.
What was the role of Arya Samaj in fanning?
Hatred. They wanted to bring a case like that, that these people were against the Hindus. For that, they collected their information, their part of the information, and propagated it. Because their intention was not writing history.
Another sane voice that lends credence to the fact that the Mopla uprising was not communal is that of Bobby Kunhu. In an article published in Roundtable India, datelined 18 February 2021, he writes, "Despite the extensive work by historians like K.N. Panikkar, there are strong attempts to portray the events of 1921 as communal violence. This also has to do with how the contemporary non-Malayali North Indian leaders of the independence movement reacted to the events without even a primary investigation. While there were Hindu, even Savarnas, who sided with the rebels, the feudal Savarnas, who never were part of the independence movement, nor claimed any loyalty to the idea of India, were the ones that were desperate to portray 1921 as a communal frenzy. The letters written by people like the Samudri and the Rani of Nilambur, whose feudal caste antecedents are well established, is proof enough. The rare non-Malayali who diagnosed 1921 correctly was Soumyendranath Tagore, the grandnephew of Rabindranath Tagore. In concluding this episode, we may add, an intrinsically non-communal mass movement ended up dividing communities due to the lies that the British administration spread and the traction the Hindus gave to these lies. Also, one may well ask, will the present anti-Mopla tirade being spread by the right-wing politicians lead to any other outcome in our own times?
തോക്കുകൾ വിളയാടി തേക്കും സന്താലമാടി തോക്കുകൾ വിളയാടി തേക്കും സന്താലമാടി ജാഫാം കറുത്ത മുത്തു തേടി സായിപ്പം മാറി ജാഫാം കറുത്ത മുത്തു തേടി സായിപ്പം മാറി കപ്പലിൽ കയറി ബന്ദി കച്ചോടം കനവിൽ കണ്ട് കപ്പലിൽ കയറി